This is Ivette Mayo, and I'm super excited to be here today. Today is, June 18th, and this is our third power surge called Power in Numbers. So you're in for a big treat, but I think what's really important for you to understand is the importance of numbers. So I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes to join us, and in the meantime, I'm going to give you some statistics that hopefully will help you in what you're doing today. So welcome everyone. So let's just see who's joining us already. Well, as we're talking, let me just give you some interesting numbers, because data and information is knowledge. And what's more important is what numbers tell us. So let's talk about women in business, because today we're talking about you, the powerpreneur, the aspiring entrepreneur, or the powerpreneur that's already out there working her purpose for profit. So let's talk a little bit about women-owned business in the United States. More than 11.6 million firms are owned by women. They employ 9 million people and generate $1.7 trillion in 2017. That's huge. Those numbers are staggering. And also, business owned by women of color, women that look like you and me, Soledad. 5.4 million firms are majority owned by women of color in the United States. These firms employ 2.1 million people and generate over $361 billion in revenue annually. Impressive, right? But I think what's important to know is that 1 out of every 5 firms generate over $1 million in the U.S. are owned by women. And 44.2% are all women-owned firms that generate $1 million or more. So you see, we're out there doing something. We're contributing to the U.S. economy, we're contributing to our communities, but most importantly, we're creating generational wealth for our families. So you're making a difference, ladies, so let's continue to do that. So as we move on, I want to share a little bit about who we have with us today, and I'm going to turn it over to her in just a moment. But I think it's important for you to know that the Power on Hills Network is not just a Houston-based organization. We are national. So today we have one of our local members here of the Power on Hills Network, Soledad Tanner. She's an amazing woman. She has amazing experience and expertise, so you're in for a treat. But I think it's important for us to get in the frame of mind or in the mindset of growth when it comes to our personal and our professional finance. So Soledad, tell us a little bit about who you are and how did you get to where you are today? Tell us a little story.
Well, Ivette, thank you for inviting me. It's a treat that I can talk to all your network. As I said, my name is Soledad Tanner. I am the CEO and founder of Soledad Tanner Consulting, a firm that helps businesses improve their profit and productivity through supporting them with business consulting, financial management, and productivity solutions. Let me tell you a little bit about me. Born and raised in Ecuador, came to the United States at 26 with a dream to pursue an MBA, which it was just what I wanted to fulfill my financial career. Worked 20 years in a global corporation, traveled around the world, and earned just incredible experience doing exactly what I'm going to share with your team now. How to make your business more profitable, how to make the money count.
And I love the fact that, see, she's not just bringing you a local perspective, she's bringing you a global perspective. And I think that's one of the things that we have to remember. It's not where we are, but the world that we want to impact. And I love the fact that you are bringing that today. So thank you for being here, Soledad.
Thank you. For me, there are no borders, and the more we grow and the more we know, the more that we can reach other markets. And the world is just one big place that we can just use it to fulfill our dreams. But we need to have knowledge.
Exactly.
And this is very close to my heart, because as I was starting to study in my university, my father passed away, and my mother had to start her own business. And with 3 kids, all 2 in college, 1 in high school, it was the story of many of the women that we know, that when circumstances in life happens, you have to step up and do what you have to do to provide for your family.
So where's your family from? Where are you from?
My family is from Ecuador, so my father is from Switzerland. So I had already 1 brother in Switzerland, and we were 2 kids in Ecuador, my mom in Ecuador, and so she decided to start her own coffee shop. And as she was starting her coffee shop, then of course the daughter, who was already in the university, started asking, Mom, let's look at your P&L. Mom, let's look at your sales report. And I realized that the knowledge of that specific subject wasn't there, while she was amazing in customer service and other areas. So little by little, I coached my mom through knowledge, and she became a sponsor for her other friends that through life had to become also had to open their own businesses, and things in life happen. So I made it my purpose, one of my purpose, to always reach out to women and always share as much knowledge as I could possibly share, so they could be financially independent, financially successful. That is where the power is, in the numbers and the knowledge that you need to apply, and the decisions that you make based on those.
Well, I love that. So you see, Soledad got the information and shared it with her mother when her mother started her business. And that's kind of the same thing we have to do. We have to get the information and we have to apply it. So just want to say really quick, hello Arcelia and Valeska and Sylvia. I see that you have joined us. Thank you so much for being on today. And ladies, if you listen, and don't forget to ask questions, because there is a prize at the end of the show today. And let's see, Elizabeth Roy, hello, and Gloria Torres. And then there's Blanca, hello Blanca. So let's get started. Let's just talk about the first area of finance that you want to share with us today.
Well, first I need to start with your personal finance, because you have to be balanced. You have to be in order. You have to be organized in order for anything in your family and in your professional life to work. So there are 3 tips that I want to share with you today. Number 1, it doesn't matter how much money you make. What it matters is how much money you spend. So the tip is always live below your means. What that means is don't spend all the money that you make, and save every month a little bit. The ideal ratio in my mind is 60-40.
Now, I know some of you panicked with that 60-40, but there's a reason why.
So the 60-40, and maybe you are not there today. Maybe you are 99 to 1%, but that's the beginning, and then you go 98 to 2%. So think about, if you use 60% of your income and save 40, you're always ready for an emergency. So let's start with that. So in order to save 60-40, you have to, point number 2, have a budget. So sit down and go through all the different areas of income and all your expenses. The ones that you have every month and the ones that you have every so often,
right,
like the gift, the birthday, etc. So you know, all of you have a mortgage, car, insurance, and you have a big food, entertainment, hair, trips, etc. So always have the different categories, and every month check how you're doing against that. That's the only way to save and reach your goal, is to truly control on a monthly basis. Now, I personally don't use cash, because I need, at the end of every month, I go through my financial statement on my credit card, and I go exactly to see everything that I have spent money. That helps me control the expenditure. So keep in mind, doesn't matter if you make $10,000, $100,000, or $1 million. What it matters is how much you spend. This is obviously after you have covered your basic needs. Also, keep in mind that we all can purchase things forever, right? And there's something that we can have, another pair of shoes, another car, a new living room, a trip to England. Just be very clear the difference between what you must have and what you would like to have.
Must have and like to have.
The must have is something that if you don't have it, your family will not eat, you will not have a roof, you will not be able to drive. The would like to have is the extra that you maybe can use something else, and you can stay with your car another year. Or maybe instead of going on vacation to Europe, you go to Galveston. But just separate your must-have what you would like to have. That will allow you to save your 60-40.
I love that.
Also, as you control your expenses, start saving for your retirement. That most of you that work in corporations or companies, you have access to a 401k. The very minimum that I suggest you to contribute to your 401k is what your company matches. So if your company matches 25 cents up to 4%, please contribute 4% of your salary. Because if better if it does dollar for dollar.
Right.
But if you say, well, I don't have, I cannot contribute 10%, but if your company does 2, 3, 4%, please, that is an incredible opportunity for you to save some money for the future.
And hopefully you guys are contributing. Take advantage of those 401k programs. Right now it's important because right now you don't think that you know, saving for your future is important, but let me tell you, you're at your highest earning potential right now. Mm-hmm. And if you can earn and save right now, it is critical. It is so critical. So rethink what your contributions are and if you're participating.
Super. Yeah. So those are there are many tips, but I would consider those the main three. Save, save, and save. Contribute to the 401k. And have a budget for your personal life.
The budget, and so the budget, it really gives us a chance to really, a lot of people don't have budgets. Mm-hmm. They say it's limiting, but what is the key factor that people can benefit from having a personal budget?
So there are two things. In every couple, there is a saver and there is a spender.
Yes.
So we know who the saver is and who we know the spender is. So having a budget puts, at least it's a tool to put both of the couple in the same line. At least we're aware that we're spending X amount of money. Most of the time when I ask people or I sit and help them prepare first the financial budget, they are in shock to see how much money they're spending every month. And that's most of the time is they tell me, I knew I was spending money, but I didn't realize it was that much. Or I didn't realize she was saving or he was saving or she was spending or vice versa. So number one, puts the couple or the partners or the family, and here is would you also include your kids. Mm-hmm. This is a great exercise to start teaching your kids the concept of money, that it doesn't obviously grow in tree, and that we have to work really hard to get it, and we have to work really hard to keep it and save it.
I do want to ask, where is the money tree? I mean, we talk about the money tree, but where is it? Has anybody ever really seen a money tree?
No. I wish we would see it.
Is it a fictional thing like the unicorn?
I don't know. Maybe somebody who planted something and then they sell it, they converted the fruit into money. Yeah. I have no idea, but it's a concept that your kids, you are responsible to teach your kids financial responsibility since they're very little. Doesn't matter if you give them $5. So it's the concept of that's all I have and I have to save for the future. Those concepts you can start in your kids at a very young age.
So I do want to ask a question. So hope if you have any questions, please let me know. I've got you right live on my iPad here, so please let me know. But I want to talk to us as a community, as women, as Latinas. Soledad, one of the challenges that when we talk about money, our first conversations in our families is always the lack thereof money. Mm-hmm. You know, we were always, which is an honorable thing, we were taught to, you work and you get paid. Mm-hmm. But the thing about it is the conversations about saving money for a rainy day, not overspending, but working or having a different relationship with money. Mm-hmm. I think we bring that into our current state. I know that I had to change my attitude, mm-hmm. my perception, but also my relationship with money. Mm-hmm. And I hope that these tips that Soledad has given you, I know for me it's always a great review, but I hopefully it'll give you a chance to rethink on how you are approaching your money, but most importantly, what you're telling your children about money, mm-hmm. because we have to change the next generation. It's not the lack of money that we need to focus on, is how do we make money, how do we save money, and how do we do things in the future around money. So those activities are really important because they create a language, they create a behavior, they create a mindset, and we need to change generational wealth and it changes the minute we start talking about money differently. So I love these tips.
And if I can add something to that, so as you remember, our grandmothers, most of our countries, they didn't work. So they stay at home. Then our moms probably were the first one to went to the workforce. And then obviously in our generation, most of us not only went to the workforce, but also start getting degrees and move on and own companies. So that's the generation that we're at right now. Mm-hmm. And that one of the reasons I really love to do these talks is that we need to get really comfortable talking about money, talking about savings, talking about investing, talking about producing money, because money per se, it's a phenomenal thing to have. Mm-hmm. And always remember, you have to be good in order for your family to be good. So if you have savings, you feel secure. If you have savings, you have freedom, you have the power to make decisions. And we need to see money as something that allows you to do good. The money itself can be used for bad or for good, but it's you, what you decide to do with it. But you have to have it first. You have to produce it first. Even if you want to help others, you have to be organized in order for you to support others. So we need to have this conversation about money. We need to be comfortable talking about money.
Well, I have a comment here from one of our viewers. Thank you. It's from Sylvia. It says, I make a decent salary, work for the state, have teachers, retirement, excellent benefits, but I find it hard to really save money. I feel that there is no extra. I am a one-income household.
So what I would recommend for her is, as you sit down with a piece of paper and a pen and a calculator, you start creating categories. Get your credit card statement and sit one day, maybe you want to do a download, and make a category for all your expenses. So if you have grocery stores, you have gas, once you have all the money in the last 6 months summarized by category, then you sort it from higher to lower. Right. And you will be shocked to see where your money is going.
Shocked!
So sometimes you say, well, I only spend like, I don't know, $200 a month in clothing. And then when you add the 6 months, it wasn't $200. It was way more. Then you say, well, I only spend, the big one is meals outside.
And gas.
Well, gas, but if you have to go to work, you have to go away. Maybe you find ways to get points from the grocery store and cut your gas bill. Maybe, but the eating out, it is so expensive. And Houston is a city that has the highest per week going out in the country. We go out like 4 or 4.5 times.
But we have more restaurants than any city in the country as well.
So I challenge Sylvia. I challenge Sylvia to put together all your expenses in food, and I'm going to tell you, you will find a space to save. Maybe you can start preparing your meals at the house, so you can take it to the office, and maybe you go once a week instead of 3 times a week, and then you will find a good saving.
Maybe this will be a great opportunity to create a challenge. Maybe it's not saving, and for all of you who are watching, let's think about this. Savings doesn't have to, we have to get used to savings. So start saving, create a budget, maybe $50 a month. Mm-hmm. You know, at the end of the year, 50 times 12, do the math. 50 times 12 is 1,000? 600. So at the end of the year, you now have Christmas money, so that you don't have to pay for Christmas on a credit card. So let's challenge each other to create a budget and do whatever you can to reach that goal. So let's start at 50. And if you feel that 50 is too low, then I'm going to challenge you to do 100. But save that money and use that money and tag it as savings, and don't spend it at Marshall's next best sale. Mm-hmm. Truly save. And let's get into that, and maybe make it a family challenge where all of you can work together to create this savings with it, because then you all benefit from it. But I think it's really important that we begin to not only create a budget, but that budget is to also, where do we save money? So thank you for all of you who are joining. Hi, Leticia. I saw that you just joined us. Hi, Leti. So let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about going into business, because I know there's a lot of aspiring powerpreneurs out there, and they're looking to transition from where they currently are into their own business. And one of the biggest challenges that we have on a personal side is we have income coming in, but it's a different conversation when you are starting your business and you are responsible for generating money, generating a customer base, marketing, business strategy. So money is a little different here for that person who's looking to go into business. So tell us a little bit more, Soledad.
So here I have, all my business the last 2.5 years, and it was interesting to see the difference between receiving a paycheck every other Friday versus generating your business, not only finding the customer but also performing the work, then billing, and finally collecting. And so it's a different cycle that you're gonna have to face as you go into business. But here I want to share 3 different tips. Number 1 is, as a lot of people ask me, well, I want to start a business, but I don't know what to do. I get that question almost every week. Can you tell me a business that makes money? Okay, I'm going to tell everyone, if you have the desire to create your own business, the number 1 question that you need to ask yourself is, what problem are you going to be solving for your future customers? So what is the problem and what is the solution? If you cannot answer that, then you need to go back to your paper and think additional ideas. So each one of us on a daily basis, even if we are at home or at the office or we're retired, we have problems or challenges or needs. So as you think, well, let's say I need to have a party, but I don't cook. So my need is, I need catering services. So then you decide, that is the product I sell. Let's say, and in my particular case, the product that I sell is financial knowledge for people that have businesses and corporations and professionals that are subject matter experts in their own trade, but not necessarily like or have had the opportunity to be familiar with finance. So what is the problem? Not knowledge of finance. What is the solution? The service. So going back again, if you want to be a coach, you need to determine what is the problem that your potential customers have and what is the solution that you're going to be offering. So that's number 1 tip. Think about a problem and think of your service or product as the solution to somebody else's challenge. Okay. Number 2, and I see this every week as I'm going to my new customers, please, as you start your business, separate your personal expenses from your business expenses. Absolutely. You need to have 2 checking accounts. You need to have 2 savings accounts, and then you need to have 2 credit cards. Please don't use your personal credit cards to put business expenses. Don't deposit in your personal account the payments from your clients, because you lack transparency. You lose the ability to match your business. You lack ability to determine your profitability. You give your CPA a headache, and then at the end of a year, it's going to cost you double for you need to pay your CPA or your financial person to prepare your income tax, but also you need to pay them for the hours and hours and hours that they will spend splitting the personal and the savings and the business. So tip number 2 checking accounts, 2 savings accounts, 2 credit cards, at least separate business and personal.
I love it.
And tip number 3 is, when you start your company, there are 6 different scenarios that you can select. You can do a DBA, you can do a LLC, you can do corporations, you can just do it without doing anything. Please make an educated decision about the type of structures that you need to have. There are consequences legally, and there are tax implications too. So each one of the scenarios have different levels of protection for your family assets and also different taxation practices. This is not something that you need to decide looking at video on YouTube. Please hire professionals that are good in what they do. Talk to a business lawyer. If you don't know one, we can recommend you many that speak. We can do it in English and Spanish. Hire a tax consultant. Be aware of the implications. You can be double taxed. You can have less deductions. So protect your assets. That's my tip number 3. So if you're going to go into business, what is the problem that you're solving? Separate your personal and professional expenses and hire professionals that support your decision.
Well, listen, I was listening and I was quiet, as you can see, because I always have something to say. So I started my business in 2006 called Yo Soy I Am. It's a training and consulting firm, and I've been working with corporations as well as entrepreneurs and developing their teams and finding the right skills. But I also help them with their business strategies and also their marketing strategies. So I do business strategies for businesses. And I'm always finding that as I'm talking to people who are looking to go into business, there's a lot of things that they do. They spend a lot of money unwisely. The last point which she mentioned, whereas know your the structure, the business structure for your business. Every time you file one of those things, you have to pay money. So just think that you went ahead and just did a sole proprietorship. You paid $500 or $600 to the state, wherever you are, and you become a sole proprietorship. Well, you have a consulting business like Soledad and I have. Well, we benefit from being an LLC. That's why we are both LLC filed with the state of Texas. What happens is if you are in business and you realize you're under the wrong company structure, you have to then refile those papers. So see, it's important to get the information correct the first time because it keeps you from spending money unnecessarily. So that's always important. And listen, if you're going to go into business and you're talking with your family on Sunday afternoon and you're telling your family that you're going into business, they go, hey, you should talk to Tio Julio. Tio Julio started a business, and Tio Julio, he had 3 businesses. But the question is Tio Julio business successful? Is it the kind of business that you want? And really, to be honest with you, define Tio Julio's businesses. So the conversation or the talking point that Soledad gave is get experts. Listen, that's one thing that money is well spent. Getting professional information on how to start your business. If you have a little bit of money, you need to find out how can that money best suit you. And getting professional information not only saves you time, but saves you money. Plus, when you do run into trouble, you got to have somebody to stand there with you. So you can say, this is the person, this is the legal expert who gave me the information that I have applied to my business. And this becomes your partner in business. So it's not just building the right relationships, getting the right information and spending your money wisely, especially when you're going in those early stages of business. Make those decisions wisely. But I'm going to come back to you real quick. I have a question for you. Hi, Angelica, how are you? And we also have George who joined us. We have a gentleman on the line. Hola, George. One of the things that I find, and that I find this a lot with business owners, they struggle with what they should charge. They're going into business. They found that little niche that they have that they want to offer in the marketplace. They see the need, but they still struggle with what to charge for their product and services. And so it's an exercise that I'm constantly going through with my entrepreneurs and my business owners. So do you have a suggestion for them on that?
Yes, it's a real struggle because you want to charge normally X and the market is willing to pay Y, but sometimes that can be higher than the other. So I would suggest, number 1, do a little espionage. You go and look for a company that provides a service similar to yours. Check their website. If sometimes you very easily find their own rights, so you can have 2 or 3 companies that you have a reference point. Number 2, go to people that are in the industry and talk to them and ask them, what do you think about this rate for this service? So if you have business owners that could be potentially your clients, but are also your friends, you're creating an opportunity to even letting them know that you're going to be in business. So if you want to charge $50, $100, $500, whatever that is, then ask, what do you think? Would you pay for this? And also you think yourself of the value that service is going to give to the person, and if you will pay those $500 or $100 or $20 for what you're selling. So compare what is in the market, do a little bit of espionage, comparison with other companies, and preferably if you're local, do it in the state of Texas, because sometimes in other states the standard of living is higher, in other countries is also different. And look for the rates in the internet, they are right there. And also ask around people that are maybe if you went to university, back to your university and talk to a professor, or also talk to people that are in business and they can give you their feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's important to tie money to those early stages of business growth. Don't get so tied up on your product and your brand and all of these things. You gotta tie money at every step of the way. It's not only how much money you're spending, but how much money you need to make. Most importantly, how to make sure that you're making enough money to live off of. And so there's a lot of conversations about money. So these are just early sprinkles of it. But thank you for that. I think that's so important that we evaluate and we get as much information we can to help us in those early stages of business. Now, let's go to the next one, because at Soledad, you can see she's a wealth of information. Now you're in business.
Yeah.
You are a powerpreneur. You've been in business for more than a minute, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Means that you have a bank account, you have a checking account for your business, you're fully running. So let's talk about business finance, because that's a shift. We're shifting into this area. So Soledad?
Now you did all the hard work. You work and save for a couple of years. You did the 60-40 that I suggested. You put your money in your savings account. You create your emergency fund. Now you ask yourself the value of the product and the needs of the people. Now you have your wonderful product and you are in business. You're a subject matter expert. Let's assume you're doing a bakery, just for the moment, and you are baking your cakes. You have the recipe, you have the logo, you have everything. Now is the beginning of the new chapter. So number one, learn the value of the money. Realize how difficult it is to produce that source of income. So when you are deciding where to spend your money, you don't spend the money because everybody else has websites and have marketing material and has brochure. You very carefully, step by step, you need to analyze where are you spending your money, making sure that it's giving you a return on the investment. What is a return on the investment? Is every dollar that I produce to, let's say, print brochures, I have to check that those brochures, flyers, or marketing material. Ask yourself, how many customers did I get for those brochures? If you go none, you move on into, well, maybe I don't need to print brochures anymore. Maybe all my business will be in Instagram. And then you check and see, you pay, you develop a campaign. If that doesn't work, then you try something different. Don't stay spending money in an area because everybody else is spending money in that area and because everybody else is doing it. Your product, your business, your edge, your niche is unique to you, and you are in command. You are in charge. You make the decision. Do not waste your hard-earned money. Number two, you need to become so familiar with your financial results that as you're driving, you probably can tell every number that is there. So when you go to the doctor and the doctor orders you to get your blood work, and then suddenly the lab sends you these 3 pages of lines with names and percentages and ratios, and most of the people put them in the desk and never look at it.
Yeah, the little graph that goes like this.
Mm-hmm. If you don't know what they mean, you are in command of your own health. You are in control. You need to ask your doctor to teach you. You can check on the internet. You can ask a subject matter expert the difference between A and B and C and what those ratio means, and when they are not looking good, what do you need to do to improve your health? It's exactly the same scenario when we talk about financial health.
So your money is your financial pulse,
yes.
Right? It all flows from money.
Because if you have worked really, really hard this month, you have created your product, produced, baked, sold, and at the end of the month, you don't know how you are doing. Do you have too many employees? Do you need to sell more? Do you have enough money to pay the rent?
Did the cost of your product go up to make your product? You used to pay $1, now it costs you $2 to make your product. So now you got to change your price.
Correct. So it's a competition raising the price, and you're staying there because you're not really in tune with your pricing. So the tips are, ask your CPA, your accountant, your bookkeeper to give you on a monthly basis your results. What is a profit and loss statement? It is a cash flow statement, and it's a balance sheet. Okay, let's go back over that. There are three basic financial statements: a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet statement, and a cash flow. Let's talk in plain English. Profit and loss, also known as P&L, is a report that tells you if you had a profit or a loss.
Right.
It has three parts. You have the revenue or sales. That's where you have everything that you have sold. The second part is the cost, is all the expenses, and at the end, your profit. So if you earn 100, you spend 80, you have 20 left. Great. But also you can earn 100, spend 120, and then you're minus 20. So you have to check this every month. Why every month? Why not once a year? Because if last month wasn't good, this month I have the time, the opportunity to make changes and adjust right away, so I don't continue to lose money. And 20 plus 20 plus minus 20 plus minus 20 plus minus 20, now you are minus 60. So the longer you wait, the harder it is to get out of the negative. Here I'm gonna make a parenthesis. Too many businesses wait until April to call their CPAs and ask them for the tax information, the tax the schedules to submit it to the IRS. I want to be very clear that there are two different kinds of financial management here. The income tax report is something that you have to produce in order to pay taxes to the government. Period. End of the story. Has nothing to do with managing the finance of your business. So that is a requirement that the government puts onto all of us, and that we need to pay part of what we earn to them. But managing your business is actively reviewing, checking the results on a monthly basis, and have nothing to do with the government. It has to do with you, how much money you have created, how much wealth you have created. So every month, please, at least review the sales report, at least review your accounts receivable report. So the people that owe you money, accounts payable report, how much money you owe to other people. So if you don't know, the expert is right here. Call me. I will be more than happy to explain you, give you a consultation of what are the reports that you need to review, why you need to review,
and how to read them.
How to read them, and more important, what to do after you have read them.
So you have an opportunity to react.
Correct. And now.
And adjust. And that's good business sense, and that's good business practice. Because you're not just going into business because you are the best social media person, the best baker, the best caterer. You're going into business because you want to make money. And so what I'm hearing you say is you got to keep your eye on the money, because it determines everything about not only can you stay in business, can you pay your employees, can you pay yourself? Because the next question you have to ask yourself, are you making enough money to even pay yourself? You know?
Well,
and this is the only way you're going to know. You have to know the numbers.
The main reason why small business go out of business is the lack of cash flow. Period. So you start with your savings. You have 6 months of savings, a year of savings. Your partner, your spouse helps you. Your mom, la abuelita, el tío, everybody puts some money. Tío Julio. Well, that will last 3 months, 6 months, a year, unless you come from a very wealthy family. But most of us, we don't.
But that's not a job. That's not a business. That's a hobby.
We have to, at the moment that money ends, then how are you going to pay your regular expenses? And more, how are you going to buy material to produce the cake that we're baking? And how are you going to run out of money? And the moment you run out of money, you have to go to the bank and ask for a loan. And the loan has an interest that you have to pay. So your business has to produce enough profit to pay the loan, pay the interest, pay yourself, pay the employees, and also leave something left for the wealth of the business. So manage your cash flow, please.
But the other important component here is that one of the reasons people don't want to go to banks is because they ask them for these type of reports. Where's your P&L? Where's your profit and loss statements? Can you show us your income for the last 6 months or 2 or 3 years? And so all of a sudden you panic and you leave. Like, I'm just trying to get money here. But they're trying to make a financial decision based on your financials. And if you don't provide those, and if you don't have them, and you don't understand them, going to a bank and getting a loan is not an option. And they're not going to loan you money if you're losing money. It's the best time to get a loan at a bank is when you're making money, right? And I mean, that sounds crazy, but they want to make sure that you're profitable because they have to protect their investment in you and your business. So keep that in mind.
And I will guide you. That's one of the services I provide, that when you start your business, I make sure you are set up with an accounting system. Your process is controlled. All the money flows. There is a correct flow of the processes of the money deposited. I coach you and teach you in financial acumen. So even when you go to the bank to ask, you're gonna go and say, okay, this is my P&L, this is my balance sheet, this is my cash flow, and this is what it means. I'm telling you, the decisions of the bankers, knowing that you know your numbers so well, is completely different when you go over there and you just said, I need some money because I run out of money, versus this is my business, this is my profit, this is my most profitable client, this is the contract that I have, and this is why I need a loan. So I can also coach you in that moment when you go to the bank by yourself, or even I have gone to banks with other clients, saying this is why, and explain the business case. This is a business decision based on the forecast of future cash flow. So it's nothing personal, it's a mathematical decision based on your historical performance.
Future forecast of, what did you say? Future forecast of financial.
Oh, what did I say? Future, it came out good.
It sounded really good.
Future focus of your financial decisions.
Yeah. So one of the things is that early on we said, you have to learn to talk about money. You have to change your relationship about money. And it's really critical, not only to get into business, but to stay in business. And that's why the power in the numbers is critical. You got to know your numbers. And if, I know that I created a line of stationery several years ago. And I think, people are so impressed that I got it into stores and all of that. But when I was sitting across the table from the buyer at Walmart, the first question that came out of her mouth is, what does it cost to make your product? I had to be able to tell her right there the cost of one product, what it cost me, right? Then she wanted to know what would it cost her if I gave her 10,000 units or 100,000 units. I had to break it down, and those numbers had to be right because based on her decision was going to be based on the numbers I was giving her, and that was going to determine if we were going to have a deal or not. And what's important is that the only way that I was able to get in that space is to know what my product was. So I think you said it very, I think I love what you said is the banker is going to ask you questions. They want to know how much you know about your business, and based on that, they're going to build a relationship with you. So I think those are all critical items. I do want to say, Soledad, we've had some wonderful ladies join us. Hello, Hilda, and hello, Rebecca. Thank you for joining us. I do hope that we've given you a lot of information. This is a great opportunity. I'm watching for you. If you'd like to ask any questions to Soledad or myself, we're here. But the conversation is power in numbers, your personal finance, your business finance, or going into business finance. So here's a great opportunity to ask the expert. But I want to just go ahead and give Soledad a little opportunity to continue because I'm just fascinated how much she knows, but how much she's willing to share with all of us today. So Soledad, if there's anything more, what else?
There are two more things before we go that I want to leave you with. Number one is, as you produce your profit this year, you are aware that you're going to have to pay part of those taxes as part of those profits. Taxes. We don't like them, but we have to pay them. So almost 9 of 10 businesses that I consult, they don't save in any money in the year that they are producing for the taxes that correspond for that year. So in 2018, if you are making $10,000, I highly recommend that you open an account and put 20% of that money that you made there, because you are going to know that you're going to have to pay a percentage of your profit in April. What the majority of the people do is the first year they spend all the money that they earn, and April comes and then you suddenly have to pay $10, $20, $50,000. And what they are doing is using the money for the next year to pay last year's taxes.
So you go into the new year in a hole.
So you are always 1 year behind. And I have seen businesses that now it's 2 years, now it's 3 years, and even 4 years, that you are almost using all the income for year number 4 to pay taxes for year 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the tip is, save at least 20% in an account, so when the time comes to pay your taxes, you have the money there, and the income that you produce next year will be to pay expenses for next year. Also, you need to collect faster than you pay. If you have clients, and when your clients pay you, they need to, with the money that you receive from that, you need to pay the people that help you if you have contractors. So if you pay faster than you receive the money, you're going to have a negative cash flow. And where that you need to have some money in the middle to finance that. And there are two ways of doing that. Either you have to ask for a loan, again, you have to pay interest to have that hole that you're filling with extra money, or you're using your own money to finance your clients' payment terms. So watch your accounts receivable and your accounts payables report. And the last one is, of course, I always am going to talk about the budget. Your business must, it's not negotiable, have a budget. And the budget has to be revenue, cost, profit, month, January, February, every month, by quarter, by year. And that budget needs to be compared on a monthly basis with your results. So every month, you know if you're better than budget, worse than budget, equal to budget, and every month you can make adjustments. So you're at the end of the year, you have a successful, profitable, productive, and a happy business where you're achieving your goal and living the legacy and creating the wealth that you dream to have.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if you were in business the year before, do a year-over-year comparison. Because, for instance, you may be just looking at last month, but if you look at last year, you also know that June was a good month, but July was a slow month last year historically. So now you looked at last month, you're looking at this month, but you also now have this historical data. So now you can make an adjustment. What happened last year that you want to make sure you don't duplicate this year? So if last year was a slow month for you, this is an opportunity to create that increase. That's why it's so important to review your performance year over year, quarterly, monthly. It's an opportunity. You've got to understand the numbers. You got to know your business. I think that's this is awesome. Now, Soledad, I love the passion you speak about helping people. And I know that you work with different types of businesses. Mm-hmm. And I think this is wonderful. She's a powerpreneur. She has great experiences, and she works with all types of clients. Mm-hmm. What are some of the clients that you currently work with?
Well, I have different type of clients. I'm working with service companies. I'm working with corporations in the medical field. Right now I have a lot of I do Spanish and English clients, and a lot of constructions happen in Houston. So I love the construction companies because this city is growing, and the people are really looking to do the right thing. So they're trying to get trained, and they're reaching out to me to please educate them. And in the new rules, also, you know that the tax change in 2019. So you need to be aware that what you thought was approved before, or some deductions that you had, may not be available in 2019. And I have doctors, many people that sometimes just call me for one budget, and sometimes it's a whole budget for a corporation, a global budget, for example. Right. And so I do a lot of training, financial training like this, to people that want to grow in the knowledge in project management. So all businesses, every business needs to have financial knowledge, financial acumen. That's the only way that you're going to succeed. That's the only way. Be even if people tell you that it still is not needed, you are the leader. Mm-hmm. You make the decisions. You want to leave a legacy for you and your family. You're making an impact. This is your dream. This is what you do well. And if you do it well and also make money, you can grow. You can provide wealth for the mm-hmm. city. You grow the economy of the country. And when a woman is successful, then the family is successful. And don't forget to support other women that are in business. Yeah. I always tell that there's a special place in heaven for women helping women. So help your women entrepreneurs act with integrity, with responsibility, with decency. Keep your values as you keep going, and don't be afraid to ask. We're here for you. I'm here for you. I'm just a phone call away. Please call me if you have any questions today and you were a little shy to ask. I will be more than happy to answer your questions. We'll
provide that. So let's do this. If you have an opportunity, and thank you for Pat and for Gina for joining us. I know that we're kind of closing out our session today, but you have a few things. Why don't you give us a quick summary of the topics that we talked about? If you have a question, this is a great time to ask. And so please take a moment to do that while Soledad is giving us a summary of today's Power Surge. There's power in numbers.
Okay, so there are three things. This is the time if you want to get your notepad and your pen. So in your personal financial life, live below your means. 60-40, remember. Create a budget, find places that you can save, and contribute to your 401k. Have an emergency fund. Those are key elements to have a balance and good financial life. If you're thinking to go into business, then remember, ask yourself, what is the problem that you're solving? Because that client will buy your product if you're solving a problem or challenge or need that that person has. Then don't forget to evaluate your legal and tax implications. Don't follow Tio Julio's advice. He loved you, but you need a subject matter expert, somebody who really can be up to date in the changes of the law and protect your assets, and then protect that your taxation is very effective. And separate your business and personal. Please don't mix. That's just a headache. And now you have jumped and you finally decided to create your business. You are in business now. You have the bakery, the restaurant, the IT company, the gas and oil company, whatever it is that you do, engineering firm. So you have to learn the value of money, be very familiar with your financial statements, become very intimate related with the numbers, the results, learn the cause and the consequence, how the money is being produced, where the money is being spent, what are the margins of each one of the products. Have a budget for your business so you can compare month over month, year over year, line item by line item, and figure out the cycle of your business, because you can be slow during Christmas but great during summer. And finally, manage your cash flow correctly. Make sure that you collect money as fast as you can and you pay after that.
Okay, wonderful. So listen, everyone, thank you so much, Soledad. All this information is wonderful. So I am super excited. We've had some great attendance today. I'm just trying to see if there is any quick questions. I don't see any. I want to go ahead and I'm going to pick a winner here. We need to know more about our 401k. I recently attended a seminar, a financial seminar by Kevin O'Leary. We all know him as Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank, but he gave some wonderful advice during that event. And there was a gentleman there, his name was Jeff Tomasulo, And he wrote this book about tactical incomes, and it's all about 401k and questions that you need to ask for your 401k. So what I like to do is give that to someone, because we need to know how to save for our future, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to pick a winner. And I'm going to pick Sylvia, because you were so good to ask a question earlier. So Sylvia, if you could DM me and I can get your address, and I'll put this in the mail for you. And Tom, I even had him autograph it. But it gives you some good information on how to manage your 401k. Some good questions you need to ask your financial planner. So with that said, I cannot thank Soledad enough. We've got some additional information. We have an attachment we're going to have on the Power on Heels platform that Soledad has prepared for us to go over some of the materials she covered today. There you'll also get her contact information, so you can reach out to her. She's a great expert, a great partner. We're great strategic partners here. She does business finance, education. I help businesses with their people and their skill sets. So we kind of are great partners here. But I think what I love is it gives you a chance to see the type of women we have on the Power on Heels network, not only locally, but on a national level. So Soledad, thank you so much for this. So just a couple quick things before we end today. Our next Power on Heels, our next Power Surge on the Power on Heels network is going to be on July 18th. Remember, it's always the third Wednesday of every month at 12 noon Central Time. And that will be the amazing Erica Pagano. She is the owner and founder and mommypreneur of Total Fitness Evolution. She is from the East Coast. I want to say she's from New York, but she lives in Jersey. So we'll get to bring some of the East Coast flavor into the Power on Heels network and the Power Search next month. And next month will be our Living Healthy series. So the power comes from healthy lifestyles. So she's going to talk about how it is to eat healthy and how it adds to your power. So I'm looking forward to having Erica and getting you guys connected with someone not here locally in the Houston market. But with that, don't forget, on August 9th, block your calendars. We have the Ciroc Mixer with the Latina Golfers Association. The founder, Azucena Maldonado, will be here. She will be conducting we'll have a great opportunity to hear from her. But just a couple quick things. It is estimated that 90% of Fortune 500 CEOs play golf. So if you're trying to grow your career and you have a chance to play golf, then you need to take advantage of it, because guess who's on the golf course? The company's CEO and the top executives. 1/4 of 25 million golfers in the U.S. are usually top management executives. So the people you are networking with on these golf courses can help you grow your professional career as well as your business. So ladies, you need to hear this information on August 9th when Azucena is here to share how to leverage golf in both your professional and personal growth. Now, we'll have a speed networking event. You'll get to network with some of Houston's elite professionals. But I also want to take an opportunity quickly to thank our sponsors for the event, Ciroc Premium Vodka, also Snapperjack Catering for the food bites that we're going to have, and also Sugar Dose by Joanna. She'll be providing some amazing, amazing desserts for us. So come for the networking. Come for the speed networking information exercise, because there's going to be some fabulous tips shared. You're going to get some great information about how to leverage golf in your personal growth, because what we're trying to do here at the Power on Heels Network is to make sure that you are growing powerfully in everything that you do, because in your power is your purpose, and in your purpose is your profit. So with that, Soledad, thank you again. Thank all of you. I don't see any last minute questions. So Sylvia, congratulations. I'll get the book over to you. With all that, continue to be powerful and power on, because remember, you are Power on Heels.